Everything else is ready. I just listened to your take on Godzilla.
Oh, nice. Yes.
Oh, nice.
A classic in a pre-Sebastian recording even.
Yep.
Yeah.
Is that? I had no idea.
It was old Mike Kerr.
Yeah, that was Mike Kerr. We recorded it in the old bunker. I think we just finished a tour and Mike was like, hell, let's record it. Let's get it done. And we just did a couple live takes.
Oh, cool. I had no idea.
Well, I'm not going to waste any more time for my amateurisms.
No, you're
if
good.
We find it,
You're
if
good.
we find it. Oh, no, I make fun of myself relentlessly. Okay, folks, welcome to Clean and Sober Stoner. Today I have a band that I just can't believe I'm actually talking to. I have the amazing Howling Giant on here. Go ahead, one at a time, starting with drums, bass, and then guitar. Introduce yourself.
What's up? I'm Zach. I play the drums. I sing some harmonies. And yeah.
What's up? I am Seabass, and I'm the bass player.
You
And
know, that
I-
answers an ongoing question I've had for a long time. Do you pronounce it Seabass or Seabass? Because in my head, it's Seabass.
I've done both, but primarily Seabass.
We
Okay.
also just call him Bass.
Yeah.
Straight
Bass,
up. Yeah.
bass, Sebastian, whatever you want. Whatever
Yeah.
you want.
And then the newest member of the deranged crew we have.
Yeah, Adrian. I play guitar and synthesizer.
Hey, before I go into, like, what brought you into the band? I want to make sure I get that story down first.
Let's see. I've known the boys for a very long time, just playing in bands and whatnot. They've stayed at my house multiple times when they were on the road. And right around this time last year, during the hurricane kind of recovery, Tom claims that I was a wounded bird, and he put popsicle sticks on my wings. Asked me to join the band, and it was kind of a no-brainer, to be honest.
It kind of is. It's one of those cases where you change the band without changing the band at all. And what I mean is you don't have to like do double and triple tracks of the guitar. It's even more organic. It's punchy. And I don't feel like on Crucible and Ruin, you're going through a lot of effort to go, ooh, we have another guitar player. It's like business as usual. I think that's a little bit impressive.
Yeah, it's been a fairly seamless kind of transition. The boys trust me a lot, and I trust them a lot, and we're good friends, and it's just kind of been a really smooth kind of deal.
Okay, it translates. By the way, I thought I was a big Howling Giant fan. I was telling Zach and Bass before, I'm a little nervous. This is a bucket list band. It's for me. It's partially why I started doing interviews. And I used to do the Tom Cruise thing, where I'm talking into the hairbrush. So I'd like to clarify a couple things. I have a couple true and false questions that I have being a fan. Okay, first true or false question. One or more members of Howling Giant are graduates of the Berkeley School of Music.
True. Tom and I went to Berkeley. That's where we met, actually. And that's kind of where we started the band. This was our goofy side project that we did. We were called Skulldozer, SKLDZR, and we played one show a year. And our first show ever on 420, of course. And we played at the Elks Lodge in Cambridge, Massachusetts. So it was the type of bar where there's there's an old guy behind the counter and there's not even a refrigerator or a keg cooler. He just has a straight up igloo cooler that he's pulling ice cold PBRs out of. And yeah, awesome show. And then kind of as we moved to Nashville and our other more serious bands at the time fell apart, we were like, hey, let's take a run at this. So Tom, myself, and our bassist at the time, Roger, kind of started it up, rebranded, and we're here now.
It's really weird. And the reason I wasn't sure if it was true is, and I'm not meaning to insult anybody, I'm a bass player myself. I've taken lessons from Brian Beller, who's also
Nice.
a graduate of Berkeley. You don't sound like a band you don't have that Berkeley sound.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of our writing that came more out of almost the songwriting world of Berkeley rather than the like over shred, like everyone's so technical fusion category. Cause like I should say about Tom's old band, my old band, we were in like very technical bands, and it ended up being way more fun and like more fun shows as well to play just some meathead riffs, you know? We were listening to The Sword a bunch. We were listening to early Elder and stuff like that. In fact, like Tom and I saw Elder while we were in Boston, right when Dead Root Sterning came out. And like at O'Brien's Pub, it's Tom and I and like 8 to 10 other people watching that band play. So it's like the very early days, that's what we were listening to.
And did you know then when you were hearing Elder, it's like, this is going to be a thing?
Yeah, I mean, it was an amazing show, and we were just kind of like, why is nobody else here at this bar? But, you know, obviously they just toured opening up for Tool, so they're getting the recognition that they definitely deserve.
Hopefully a little bit. So that I've listened to your whole discography, and I thought I was a fan of Howling Giant, and I found out very humbly that I wasn't, because I haven't listened to your whole discography. So I have it in my head that Howling Giant is the light and bouncy, you know, like from Shrunken City, that's your general motif is being good guys and kind of no, there's darkness and heaviness all through the thing.
Yeah.
And I thought Crucible and Ruin was this massive leap forward, and it's not. What it is, I think, is Howling Giant at its most Howling Giant, where you're comfortable, you're clicking, you're songwriting, you get along so well that you've taken everything. Because your EP reminds me a little bit more of Sleep, especially I think it's Camel Crush.
Oh yeah, Camel Crusher. That was just like, all right, something big and nasty. And you don't sing over that. You do spoken word, as is tradition. You got to have a little bit of spoken word. But I mean, we had a bunch of EPs before everything. You know, we had with the first one and with Black Hole Space Wizard 1 and 2 and all that stuff. Prior to the full length records, we were just dropping EPs because it was, well, one, we were all broke at the time, especially, and we were like, all right, we can record as much as we can and then release it digitally. Hopefully we can save up to buy some CDs to try to sell. We were screen printing our own shirts in Tom's carport. We would just get together on a Sunday and just let her rip. And like, we'd have Tom's oven going because you have to heat set. So we were just like shifting shirts with oven mitts in and out for like 20-second periods to heat set the shirts. Yeah.
Jeez.
And when I listened to, again, the first 3 EPs, and I need to ask the questions about Black Hole Space Wizard. But that's where you establish the sound, where with the EP, the vocals are a little bit on the muddy side. They're not as pronounced. And I figured out why I love Howling Giant so much. One of the reasons, I don't need to read the lyric sheet. You enunciate, you pronounce your story. Every one of your songs is this compact story, and you allow me to participate in it without going, what did he say?
Yeah.
Although you do a little bit of screaming. So back to Black Hole Space Wizard. Number 1 question on my Facebook page was, is there going to be a part 3?
That's
know.
We've talked about this a little bit. Was it last January or maybe 2 years ago at this point? But we were setting out to work on part 3 before Crucible and Ruin, and around that time we ended up re-upping on our record deal with Magnetic Eye for another 2 records. So we were writing a bunch of stuff, and some of it fit with the themes that we want to have in Black Hole Part 3. Some of it didn't, and we were trying to figure out where to go with it. And as soon as Magnetic Eye came around and wanted to offer us a deal for 2 more records, we were like, all right, we should focus on something not Black Hole Space Wizard related. We should get something new. So we took some of the stuff from the Black Hole sessions to move into what became Crucible and Ruin.
Oh, so I was thinking that there was a little bit of continuity there, but I'm a metal fan, so it's like A Beautiful Mind. I see all these connections, and there usually aren't. I'm usually wrong 90% of the time.
Well,
And
musically, there are some ties. I mean, thematically, it's a little different, I think, obviously, but there are a handful of Black Hole Space Wizard 3 songs that we just have sitting on a hard drive currently, not like fully recorded, just demos. And as we fill out and as we continue to write, we'll see what we can get together just to wrap that thing up. Because
the 5 people who actually watch all my videos are going to flood me now with more details on, because it's popular, it's part of. And I think one of the biggest strength of Crucible and Ruin is it is an invitation to go back and listen to everything, especially since your EPs are name your own price on Bandcamp. Throw them $5, folks. Come on, so they can, they're starving. Tom is too tired and hungry. He's sleeping in a scar. He can't be here today.
he can't, yeah.
No, but Crucible and Ruin, if nothing else, it kind of reflects every period of Howling Giant that you've had. So I'm kind of glad I picked up on that. One last true or false question. Sebastian, true or false, you were once a bass player for Cirque du Soleil?
I wish, man. I'd have a whole lot more money than I had now.
That's the one. That's the one. So there you have it, folks.
Yeah.
So
you don't want to see me high flying on those trapeze artists, I can't be doing that.
That's true.
Seabass, do you think the band in Cirque du Soleil is playing their instruments on the trapeze?
I think so.
They might be.
At least,
they might be.
At least I would be.
They have a house band. Gina Gleason played guitar for for Cirque before. So anyway, I would like to hear more high flying of you. Just a thing as a bass player. I'd love it if you became a little bit more unleashed and they just let you do some manic arpeggios, maybe do a dual lead with Adrian.
Dude,
there we go.
We always like to throw in, some cool little bass lines here and there, but
they're tasty.
I am very much, I come from my dad's world where he's very much of a simple bass player and just play what the song needs. And so I've always kind of had that mantra. Some of my favorite bass players, I mean, like my dad and then Cliff Williams from AC/DC are very, very like simple, heavy groove based bass players, and that's just what I love.
Until you get some bar band from the Midwest butchering AC/DC songs, because he plays root fifth, we know it, but rhythmically what they're doing is different than what we have in the head. They're so tasty.
Exactly.
Like the best rhythm guitar player and bass player combo on the planet that I can name. Just completely underrated. And Angus gets all the girls, which is kind of creepy nowadays, now that I think about it.
Yeah, it's Angus. He still dresses up in the little schoolboy suit, so what can you do?
That's what we need Bass to have on stage. If not,
good idea.
It's a mix between that or the Cirque du Soleil tights that we can get him.
Well, all that being cool, when I do hear you get a little bit of the spotlight, it's really refreshing. And I always try to figure out, is that dark glass or is that an overdriven Ampeg?
That one off this record was it was the Aguilar tone hammer that I was using.
The head or the
it was
pedal?
actually the pedal. And then everything else was just done really just straight through SVT into an 810. Just pretty standard, but just can never go wrong with that sound.
I could never get that sound out of the tone hammer pedal. I can out of my Line 6 Helix.
Nice.
So bravo to you for, by the way, P bass or J bass?
I switched it up on this record a little bit. So there was a few songs that I was using a P bass, a few songs I was using a J bass. So I was kind of going back and forth between them.
Okay.
Yeah, our producer Neil was a bass player, so he had all the gear and some nice basses for us to check out.
Yeah.
And he really got Seabass dialed in and some
he got some
amazing
killer
bass
stuff.
tones. Yeah.
Okay. Another question from Colin Peterson. He's the guitarist for Shadow of Jupiter.
Yeah.
And Adrian, I want you to answer this one.
Hit me.
Why is Howling Giant so damn good?
Lots of practice. Practice makes perfect. I think they're good because I guess I can speak on this because I was a fan before I was in the band. What I've always loved about Howling Giant specifically is as seriously as we take it, it's still fun for us. You know, we're all really good friends. And I think that is kind of important to have just a good band. But then if you like want to dive into it technically, like they take so much time crafting songs. And I think it shows, really.
You know, that's a really good answer. I'm glad you were on. And you don't have to look at Tom's embarrassed face while you answer it. So
No.
that's awesome.
I would have answered differently if Tom was on.
I actually have one more true and false question, but I'm going to save that for the album that I want to cover. I do apologize in advance. There's some things in your discography I want to spend a little bit of time on. I've also heard a rumor, somebody else asked, that you already have the next album is basically in the can. Is that true?
Not in the can. We have started writing the next record.
Mm-hmm.
So typically what we've done, starting with Glass Future and now with Crucible Ruin, is we've begun like overwriting a little bit. Because with all the EPs and Space Between Worlds and stuff, we wrote what we needed for the record, and then we were done. So Glass Future, I think we wrote 18 songs before we pared it back. And then this one, we probably had not as many. We probably had 13 or 14 before we dove into like, all right, what is the record? So we have started writing a few things for the next one, you know, probably have loosely 30 minutes of music, but not really arranged yet, just kind of ideas. And we'll probably try to double that before we're really getting into arrangements and stuff like that. But we are working on it actively. And basically as soon as we finish this November tour, we're diving back into kind of writing mode for sure. Because winter is when we do a lot of that.
Kind of hibernate and build some fires. And although it would be nicer to tour during the winter sometimes, especially in the South, because of how hot and sweaty and nasty it is here.
Oh, yeah. I mean, 100%. If I'm like so sweaty after a set and I can go outside and cool off in like a minute, that is prime.
It's pretty awesome.
See your breath coming out, the steam coming off your stank. Yeah. That's, by the way,
sweaty hair freezing.
Yeah.
That's why it helps when you're good friends, you know, the band gets along, because that way you can withstand those van rides when you're out of deodorant. It's just sorry, bad joke. In my head, that one played better.
Listen, I've got some peppermint spruce essential oils on deck to mist the van back down there.
You have to, dude. When you have Bass next to you have to.
Dude, you gotta spray that thing down.
I will say I get pretty stinky, man. I'm not gonna lie. So yeah, having that spruce has definitely helped.
Seabass's bass strap, for real, is the most horrifying thing
It is
that
really
you'll ever
disgusting.
experience.
Yeah.
Is it
You will get a whiff. I won't even have to hold it up to your nose. I'll open my bass case and just take it out, and you'll just smell it from like across the room.
So that's like the pitcher who won't wash his underwear after he's done a no-hitter?
Yeah.
Dude.
It is pretty legendary though, man. And this strap is you know, taking me to some awesome places. So why am I going to wash the luck off of it, right?
We were leaving for a tour and
Bess.
he forgot because he was trying to wash it in his sink or something like that, and he left it at home. So we stopped 15 minutes outside of town while his girlfriend drove the strap out to us, and she was like, you clean this? I don't think so. It's like, oh man.
I tried, man. I did my best.
I'm glad I threw that joke out there. Okay, now for the gushing part of the interview and why you were one of the top 4 bands, again, along with Yob, Mesa, and Sergeant Thunderhoof, and that's my segue. I consider Turn to Stone Chapter 2 Masamune and Muramasa to be the greatest album released this century. Personal note, I'm a survivor of Hurricane Florence, and a tree came through my house when I had headphones on. And for like a year after that, I couldn't listen to headphones. And yours is the album that you're the first album I could listen to. It was you and Scorched Oak. And I didn't even listen to I'd never heard really of Sergeant Thunderhoof. So I listened to Masamune about 15 times before I even went on to Muramasa. So true or false, was that actually recorded live but in sections, like you'd record 5 to 10 minutes live and then 5 to 10 minutes live?
Yes.
Yeah.
Essentially.
I mean, essentially what we were doing, what we often do is that, the three of us, now four of us, would get in a room, and whether we had like a click track reference or none at all, we all record the core stuff live together. And sometimes you end up going back and being like, all right, we'll keep the live drums, but everyone will do overdubs later, or, you keep stacking stuff on top of that one. We essentially wrote Masamune as 3-ish songs that we worked movements into to kind of combine. We tracked live in my old basement. That was Tom, Seabass, and I just kind of go in, knock it out, pick the best take, and then start stacking everything on top of it.
Mm-hmm.
It's, like I said, I listened to it at least 10 to 15 times before, because I could not imagine anything following that song. And you start out so light and bouncy. Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah.
And then you go into the spiritual crisis, the spiritual depth of this peaceful master creating this sword that, according to Japanese legend, you and Muramasa, I will always get them confused.
Sure.
Like that they're in this contest, and your sword doesn't kill everything in its path, and the other dude's sword does.
Yeah, essentially a bloodthirsty demon blade. This, like, Muramasa was known as the guy who made, like, the war blades, where the other was definitely more of, like, the peacekeeping force, or, like, the holy blade.
Right. Yeah. And then, he kills the bird. And the most heartfelt part on Sergeant Thunderhoof, what have I done?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is just epic, and it came out right at pandemic. And I know Bucky Brown from Ripple is the one that came up with the idea. I think it put Todd Severin on the map, and then boom, pandemic. Mm-hmm. And have you ever performed that live?
We haven't done the full thing. We do a couple of those sections, though.
Sometimes when we split the sections up, sorry, Zach.
No, go ahead.
When we split the sections up, it's easier to kind of work them into the set a little bit, and so. And that's how they were originally written, so to speak, too. So, yeah. So we like to just pick a couple from here and there and just put them in the set. But yeah, we've never done it, fully.
Yeah, our first European tour was supposed to be March, April 2020, and we were going to link up with Sergeant Thunderhoof for, I think it was 8 or 9 UK shows before we hit mainland Europe and stuff. So obviously that all fell apart. But I'd like to be able to get together with them at some point and do something. I know they were just in the States for a one-off for the Planet Desert Rock, but
I was there.
I mean, it was awesome.
You cannot imagine a more perfect band. Like, everything about that band is meticulously crafted. Dan Flitcroft is a master showman. The only thing missing was you guys. And of course, I was hoping they were going to play Muramasa, but no, they focused on stuff. I have yet to hear any song or any album better than Turn to Stone Chapter 2. I'll put it up against any. In fact, I bought, well, you're into science fiction, guys, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Have you heard of Christopher Rocchio? He's written the Sun Eater series.
I haven't.
Okay, he
Not
was
sure.
voted the most metal author of all time by, I think it was Hellfest, in France. You've
Yeah.
got to read Sun Eater
Okay.
Okay.
because I got a chance to meet him. We went and saw Mortal Kombat 2 together. Now, I'm buying
Nice.
copies of Muramasa Masamune for my best friend, for my cousin. I sent them my girlfriend's brother. I'm just buying this thing and sending them out.
Yeah.
And I took Chris
Mhm.
Rocchio this copy, and I think it kind of creeped him out because he wasn't big enough at that point to have fans that bring him things. But there are 2 degrees of separation from you and Christopher Rocchio. You need to read it because
That's
Yeah.
sick.
I think you would be one of the bands that would really be able to pull off a soundtrack to his deep, dark doom. It's kind of an inversion of Dune in the first book,
Mm-hmm.
but it's an inversion. He studies a lot of Roman history. I cannot read Christopher Rocchio without thinking about you and Sergeant Thunderhoof.
Nice.
So
So-
dope. Yeah, we'll check them out.
Yeah, and now I have a little short where I can mention the embarrassing thing.
Yeah.
And now I can tag Christopher and go, oh, God, that guy again. I've met him a few times and he's great. So that song took you to a totally different level, at least within the Dune Charters, real fans. And correct me if I'm wrong, your next one was Glass Future?
Yeah. Glass Future was right after that.
Like the contrast of style was pretty pronounced. I love it. Shrunken City might be my favorite. Like it's an earworm, but
Yeah.
you seem to focus a lot more on melody and even some choruses. It's like, what are they doing here?
Yeah. I think we kind of, we just finished a 20-minute song. So we were like, we should focus on some like more traditional song forms and stuff like that. And to kind of to bring up like the Berkeley writing thing again, that was another excuse to be like, all right, within our songwriter friends, we are talking to a lot of them. That's when our good buddy James started helping, was around Masamune and into Glass Future with lyrics and song form, like on the production side. And James ended up playing guitar with us for about a year before he had other commitments he had to take care of. But we started really trying to hone that craft of like, what is a song? When do you do the prog thing? And then like, all right, we want to do this crazy odd time thing or shreddy section, but you only do so much of it, because I think we noticed when you do that all the time, you play it live and people their eyes glaze
They
over and they're
glaze
just kind of
over,
like,
right?
yeah. So it's, I think, finding ways to insert that little bit of prog, because especially with Tom and I coming from more of the prog and technical background, we played so many shows to be like where the entire crowd is just sitting their arms crossed and staring at you.
Oh, like me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But there's a difference, I think, in the prog world. There's like a real judgmental attitude that kind of happens there versus like, again, going back to big riffs with the stoner doom community, it kind of gets people moving more. So I think that's Glass Future's where we're really trying to pivot a little bit and figure out how we do a little bit of the simplicity, a little technicality, and bring it all together.
And by the way, executed flawlessly. Again, there's not a weak second in that album. I felt like maybe you were giving yourself, okay, we have 4 minutes. We have 10 minutes of ideas. Let's do the 10 minutes in 4 and see how we
Right.
do it. I felt like you were sharpening your blade.
Trying to, yeah. And I mean, also Glass Future for me personally was where I was starting to get a little more comfortable vocally. So we were starting to try different types of harmonies,
Right.
Call and response, counterpoint kind of textures and stuff like that. So that's where like Tom and I were like, all right, let's push it vocally a little bit more and see what we can get done.
I feel that. I mean, talking to you is like, that makes sense. Because what struck out to me most on Glass Future was God, they've always had clean vocals, but these are just next level. And you can almost figure out the next word because you're singing so clear, which I love. Look, I cover Stoner Doom, so there's a lot of,
Yeah.
okay, it's good, it's fine. I feel you. Yay, as long as the riff is dank enough and it's slow enough, that's great. But there's something going on in Stoner Doom that I don't. Prog is invading Stoner Doom in a huge way.
Oh, yeah.
You have Birdstone from France doing their progressive blues thing. You have you guys doing, honestly, whatever the hell you want. You just do it. There's bands like Kind are taking it a bit proggy. Then, of course, you have Elder. King Buffalo doing a little bit more of a psychedelic prog thing that I think at this point is safe to say progressive Stoner Doom's a thing.
Yeah.
And no disrespect to the other bands, and here's where I get to finally bring Adrian back in, is on this album, you just didn't give a fuck. Like, Zach, what the hell got into you? Because like all of my friends who listen to this are like, you drank some sort of experimental Monster energy drink where you've always been restrained before, right? You've always, and I remember watching you during the pandemic, you would live stream your rehearsals. There'd be like 5 of us watching and going, ooh, this is awesome. You took the gloves off.
Yep.
What happened? Were you auditioning for Dream Theater? Did you think? Because this is the first time that you bring the Berkeley to the album.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I feel like it doesn't feel too much like a departure too far drum-wise from like some of the Glass Future stuff. I think that since this was the first one we got into a proper studio, because everything else was like my basement or my garage or something, Neil just captured such crisp sounds where he, like, I think a lot of my parts just popped a little bit more. I always take the extra time to be like, I want to push myself on each record and try something that I couldn't do before. Like, when you brought up Sunken City, there is a specific part in there where like Tom asked if I could do a rhythm with my right hand, and I was already doing something different, and it was the ride pattern, and like the coordination just like didn't work in my brain. It's something I had to sit down and work on, but then we tracked it. I was like, oh man, this is great. So there are a lot more moments on Crucible and Ruin where I just sat down and came up with a part. I was like, okay, here's what I would just do in the room if we were improvising. How can I change this up? How can I accentuate what Seabass is doing? How can I accentuate a vocal line? Maybe what Tom is doing. And as we did demos with Adrian too, towards the back half of the writing process, I was like, oh, Adrian has a cool part here. How do I bring that out, So I think it was like just taking that time to really dig into the songwriting process and the arrangement.
My theory, and I've listened to this, like, I don't have time anymore to listen. I used to listen to like 200 albums a month, and now I'm lucky if I can do 10 or 20. And you have absorbed all of it for the past 2 weeks. Apologies to everybody waiting. My operating theory is it's because of Adrian in very specific ways. Because I feel like having, well, Adrian specifically, because dude, it's just wonderful. It just fits so well. Takes the pressure off the drums, takes the pressure off of the bass, takes the pressure off of Tom, and you guys are just able to go, we have this idea, we're just going to throw it. By the way, I have goosebumps right now talking about this album in particular, because I thought you were going to go a little bit more into the restrained poppy territory that you did play with a little bit on Glass Future. Very well. It's not an insult. But on this one, you ran out of fucks. That's the only way. So, Adrian, how much did this album push you and your ability, especially to collaborate with an established legendary band who's about to hit their peak?
It pushed me quite a bit. When I officially told the boys, yes, I'm in, I think it was mid-January. My wife and I had driven over, jammed jammed with the boys. I stayed at Zach's place, and I think we jammed like a couple hours on Saturday. Went and got some food, came back, jammed again, and I was like, all right, I'm in. Let's do it.
What do you guys jam on? Like, I immediately think, okay, we're going to do School's Out by Alice Cooper, which makes sense considering your Godzilla cover.
A lot of times, I mean, sometimes we'll just pick songs from the catalog that, we may have been practicing or focusing on recently, but a lot of times it's just like we get in the room and somebody just starts a riff,
Yeah.
Somebody starts a riff, I jump in with bass line, Zach jumps in on drums, and we just kind of start jamming and like freestyling a little bit. So
Yeah.
I'm sure there was a good bit of that going on that weekend.
Yeah.
I'm always going to start with the intro fill to Smooth by Rob Thomas and Carlos Santana. So eagle-eyed, keen listeners to our live set, if I ever want to get a smile out of the dudes, if I can sneak that fill in somewhere, they'll just be like,
he did it
what
night on the Castle Rat run.
So,
ridiculous.
Adrian, how much of the writing process were you involved in on this?
Truthfully, not much. So as I was saying, January, I said, yes, I'm in. And then Tom, towards the end of January, was like, hey, do you want to record on the record? And I was like, I don't know the songs, dude. And he goes, all right, well, you're recording on the record. And I was like, oh, okay. So I spent hours a day learning, writing, all the guitars. I had to write synth parts. And essentially I would just demo it here in my studio. I'd send it off to the boys. They would give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down or a thumbs in the middle. And I just kept working and working and working. And then we went to the studio.
In the middle of February.
In the middle of February.
You basically had a month. Yeah.
I had basically a month.
So kind of like Steve Vai when he joined Frank Zappa.
Maybe.
And just went through
I'm not nearly that good, though.
Yeah.
Well, okay. Yeah.
Adrian, you can chug. Can Steve Vai chug like you?
Probably
no, I don't know
not.
about that.
I don't think so.
You guys do have epic chugging on Crucible and Ruin. By the way, like this is the Howling Giant that I think unifies the Doom fan, the more chuggy, even a little bit of gent. And I swear to God, I've never heard clean blast beats quite like that. It's tremolo picking and blast beats like you did in the early EPs, but it's so crisp and clean. I feel like you're kind of putting the middle finger up it's just how I take it. That you're just having fun and going, oh yeah, we can be true cult too.
Yeah, man. That's ultimately what it boils down to, is that we are having a ton of fun with this. And while the songwriting process is a serious process to us, and a lot of the material is heavy, intricate material that we're writing, we're ultimately just having the time of our lives doing this stuff. So we hope that reflects on the album and the live shows as well.
Well, I think the album's going to do spectacularly. I know that you've made the rounds with a few of my friends. You've been on with them, and I think everybody wants to hear more. It's like you're one of those bands that people watch the interview, they're going to watch the next YouTube channel's interview or listen to the podcast, because there's a lot of anticipation building for this, and you're screwing up my album of the year thing. You're screwing it up. I'm so torn.
Yeah.
My top 20 is basically going to be top 20 albums, like the number one albums. There's 20 of them. And Bring On the Heartache. That's fine.
Yeah.
It's absolutely epic. How's the early response been so far?
It's been great. I mean, we've been since we tracked it in February and had demos done since October of last year, we were just like, you get itchy and you send it to friends and you're like, is this good? I don't know. And everyone has been very into it, which has been very kind. And then, with some of the PR advances going out, nothing but kind words. And also with the singles out now, we've got 3 currently. Yeah, the third one, Hunter's Mark, was the last one. I mean, just really good response.
And we have to
So
give
great to
shout
hear.
out to Austin and his PR work.
100%. He's been getting after it. We've got a full week of interviews coming up here, and he's great. He gets us out there. Really, Austin, the whole Magnetic Eye team, like, man, nothing but great things to say about everyone we have been working with. That helps us so much, you know?
Yep. 100%.
Generally, I'm a snob. I do not review MP3s. I don't, because they usually sound like crap, but not for the
Yeah.
reason people think they do. I only have your MP3 right now, and it sounds fantastic. So it kind of supports my theory. It's not the MP3, it's not the bitrate, it's the mastering.
Mm-hmm.
The mastering on this album is so smooth and organic. It doesn't sound brick-walled. I don't hear auto-tune. Please tell me you don't quantize your drums.
No.
Yeah.
I record until I get it right. You know, there's always the occasional, like, man, this take was really good. I hear one tiny kick that I just stumbled on. Just pull that out of there or something, or just bump that. There's always going to be a little bit of that because it's like I record it all live, but that's like the worst that happens, you know?
Yeah.
It's just like, all right, everything's perfect except this one hit, you know? And sometimes,
just
like,
a little
yeah,
bit.
just bump that. Yeah, but no real quantizing or snapping. We're in there doing it.
Okay. Adrian, I'm trying to wrap my head around what your first gig was like. I'd have to get off stage and pee like 10 times.
I think I mean I've been playing shows for so long, touring for so long that like I don't know if I really had much thought about it other than don't fuck this up, dude. You know what I mean? Like that was like really it. Where was their first show?
Was it Louisville? Was it Magbar?
It was Magbar. Yeah,
It was
yeah.
Magpie.
Yeah.
It was a great crowd.
Dude, yeah, that show was awesome.
Yeah, I didn't have much thought about it other than just don't fuck it up. Because we had a lot of friends there that that knew me not in Howling Giant. So it's just like, I wanted to make sure that, you know, you do right by the boys.
It was also an hour, like, it was an hour-long set
Right.
that night.
Mhm.
So there's, so also just speaking to Adrian learned Crucible and Ruin, but then we're not playing any of that in April, obviously, because the record's not out for so long. So he had another hour's worth of music to learn after the record was done.
Mhm.
So he had a lot to get into.
Yeah. He had his work cut out for him, but he did it, and he did it with grace and elegance and power.
Wow. Grace, elegance, and power. There you go, Adrian.
Maybe so. Maybe so.
Guys, this has been like a complete blast for me. I think I got about 10% of the things that I want to talk and chat about. One thing I'm curious about, are those acoustic treatments behind you?
Oh, yeah. My wife is an audio engineer, so this is her mixing room mostly, and she just has some. And then we have so many in our room that we just make. I took some of my old band shirts that either like didn't fit or were all ripped to shreds, and she quilted them together and used that as the fabric on the front. So yeah, Kim actually recorded and mixed everything through Glass Future. So that's we kept it all in-house.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Crucible Ruin comes out October 1st. So you're torturing us, waiting to the end of the month. But that's tradition for you, right? End of October tends to be your bag.
Yeah, I don't know why it has, it's when the label had time for stuff and we were ready, but then artwork was like, we are still deciding on artwork and stuff. So we ended up just pushing it to October, and it worked out this way. We're pretty much sitting on a 2-year album cycle, so hopefully we can keep up with that now, since we've apparently set that for ourselves.
Well, on behalf of everybody who's going to totally dig this, and on behalf of everybody who's going to discover your band, because how we're going nuts, we all hope that you sneak a surprise EP, maybe accidentally tile Black Hole Space Wizard Part 3.
That's right.
You should do.
You never know.
You should do a Turn to Stone chapter where both you and Sergeant Thunderhoof continue the epic story of the Black Hole Space Wizard.
That could be, you know.
That would be dope.
That's how we get it done faster, is we start outsourcing our friends.
Yeah.
Yeah, just have Dan come up with a little theme like
Right.
you had done on just that you're going to do a riff on. And
Yeah.
you see, so I get finder's fee for that one.
There you
And
go.
Yeah.
Todd, heck with Bucky. I'm the one that came up with that one.
Yeah.
Last, this is my BS question where I put people on the spot, and I'm going to start with Adrian. Of all the bands that are out there, who do you want to take along on your headlining tour? You're headlining. Who's opening for you? Pick one.
Are we talking friends bands or are we just talking anyone?
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Anybody in the entire scene. And then I have mine.
Adrian wants Pink Floyd to open for us.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah, Pink Floyd. That'd be great. Metallica. James and Lars. What's up, boys?
Yeah. You open for us now.
I'm going to go with one of Worshipper or Horseburner.
Ooh, Horse Burner. Ooh.
Yeah.
Actually, both of those.
Yeah.
Man, we might just end there. I can't imagine it being better.
Yeah.
But Seabass has to come up. I'm hoping I hear a certain band.
Or I would say, I had two as well. I would say either Horseburner or Fairy Ring.
Nice.
Fairy Ring, good
A
friends
lot
of
of
ours.
Fairy Ring love here lately.
Dude, the best.
The
best.
boys.
That's awesome, man.
I can throw another band in there. You might not have heard of them. Ooga Booga.
Oh.
Are even more. They're just as fun. Like if those two ever do a tour, forget about it. It's over.
It's
that
over for you.
that would
Yeah.
be total devastation for the audience. Too good a time. Those are great choices.
Yeah.
Okay, Zach?
I won't say Horseburner again, but I'll say Horseburner again. I think Friendship Commanders for me.
Yeah.
Good, great, dear friends, label mates now. Jerry did both the Glass Future video and the Beholder 1 video for us. I know we'd have a great time because we just get along so well, and I think the heavy yet melodic situation would go over quite well.
I think Friendship Commanders are also poised to go next level. Like there's a
100%,
lot of buzz out there. I think some of the people in the scene, especially we're getting new, like Castle Rat, whether they like it or not, our scene's getting more attention than it's gotten in a long, long, long time.
Totally.
And it's not the dark, it's not High on Fire pummeling us. It's bands giving us a reason to smile, maybe even dance, do some wild air drumming, or as I prefer, air bass flank.
There you go.
Yes, there you go.
That would be great. I love all of your choices, but for me, there's only one. Actually, two bands
Yeah.
that I would love to see open for you guys. The first one is Saturna from Spain. I think they're just magnificent. But Ritual King, to me, is the progressive stoner blues-based band to watch out for.
Yeah.
I
Nice.
think Ritual
UK,
King,
right? They're from
Yeah.
the UK? Yeah, okay. Yeah, I think we've connected with some of them in the past. I forget who we were talking to. So I thought one of the guys hosted a festival over there while we were booking. He was trying to get us on to one of those fests. Yeah.
Ritual King and Howling Giant just go together like chocolate and peanut butter.
There you go.
To me,
Tis the
to me,
season.
that's my double shot.
Yeah.
That would be dope.
And of course, Elder, and of course, King
Sure.
Buffalo, but they're not so dominant. I mean, there's plenty of room. And
Hear me out.
okay,
What about
you,
all of those bands on one giant tour?
we can call it Clean and Sober Stoner Fest.
Let's go.
There we go.
Yeah.
It's like- We'll make
In
it a
which case-
traveling festival like Warp Tour.
We'd
There
have
you
to
go.
have Sergeant Thunderhoof
The
on that one.
the hoof's coming.
That's fine.
The hoof would have to be there. Guys, this has been like a lot of fun, and I don't know, I might retire after this because
Yeah.
who else am I going to talk to? Mesa?
Come on.
Is there anything I didn't ask that you guys really wanted to make sure to emphasize?
I mean, really just stuff coming up. We've got the November tour with Ancients. All of those dates are on all of our social media, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, all that stuff. We also have an email list. We've got new hot sauce coming out on that tour.
Oh, I forgot.
To go with everything else. Yeah.
Okay, on my hot sauce, I'm not a connoisseur.
Yeah.
But like I have a Carolina Reaper sauce that's made with mango and I think papaya. And it is like the tastiest sauce I've had. They use like powder, so it's not overwhelming. So what's in your hot sauces? What's up with the hot sauces?
So the standard that we've had for years is our bunker sauce, and that's a black garlic habanero sauce. And then what we were doing is having fruit additives pending the sauce. So there's a Pioneer pineapple. We did a blackberry space wizard. There was a cranberry crusher. So we kind of rotate that through.
I like it.
And we are making the new sauce. We have both Scepter and Scythe. And the sauce is the same, but one is the hot version. One is the extra hot version. But it's ghost peppers, pickled and fresh jalapenos, mushrooms, a little bit of strawberry, regular, just kind of minced garlic, and some lime juice in there. So it kind of leans more on the savory side of things. And then we also just had a bunch of strawberries left over because we over-ordered. So then we put some more strawberries in some bunker sauce to try that fruit additive version. So there's going to be a bunch of sauce out there on the road. And then whenever we're done at the end of November, I'll get them all on the Bandcamp in 1 and 3 packs for everyone to order.
Oh man,
wherever.
I'll be all over that.
Yeah.
Can I be presumptuous enough as to make a suggestion?
Get in there, yeah.
You need to do a Sauceamune.
Damn, dude.
Oh man,
but have miso in it.
Oh,
dude.
So miso, maybe what are they? 3 pot, 7 pot.
Zach's
Don't
writing
go
this
with
down
Reaper,
right
don't
now.
go with the Americans.
I'm texting our hot sauce guy. he's gonna love it.
Sauceamune. How have we never thought of that?
I don't know, man. That's good.
Come on.
That's why I still have a YouTube channel after 3 years of futility.
Dude,
Guys,
that's dope, man.
You got to send me a body. If that becomes a thing,
Oh yeah.
I might need to sell that on my own sauce.
Chad got back immediately and just said, "Oh hell yeah."
Let's go.
Again, just get in touch with me because miso, probably some of the 7 pot, maybe even just Thai chilies. Nothing like, because that miso amplifies anything hot just to an insane level.
Oh yeah. I love some miso.
Same.
Okay. I guess that's about it. Again, this is the best way I can think of to spend a Sunday. Thank you so much. And I can't wait for everybody to hear the album.
Thanks, man.
Thank you.
See ya. Don't go anywhere.